Well, we usually start the show off with headlines from Will Richmond, digital news editor at the Herald News. He's away on vacation this week, so we are being joined by Herald News staff reporter Jo Goode, who is a very well-known figure about town. Welcome, Jo. Welcome
Hi
to the
there.
show.
How are you, Donna? Thank you for having me.
Yes, and it's actually an absolute pleasure to have you, because I was obviously very truthful when I said you're out and about getting a lot of different stories that pertain to city and the residents and the taxpayers. And the big one on tap is the 2017 budget that the City Council had grappled with. Can you give us some details from start to finish, so to speak?
Well, there were 3 hearings initially planned on, and the first 2 was the week of the 13th, and I think they went fairly well. But then we came on to number 3 when they rejected the budget. And so that kind of left the administration scrambling. The next morning, I was told by Mary Sahadi, who has been been helping out with the budget and will soon be the CFO of the city, had contacted Department of Revenue to see what they were going to do. Not being really familiar with 112 budget, which they were about to have to go into if there was no action to pass the budget. And in that conversation, according to Mary, DOR had indicated or given a legal opinion, actually, that the rejection vote wasn't legal. So the City Council had to go back on Tuesday and revisit the budget. It became quite a confusing meeting, and I can tell you that Linda Prairie told me that on the record it was the most confusing meeting she's ever attended. So, long story short, the first vote on the budget, it passed 8-1, and there had been initially they were doing the line-by-line voting on the appropriation order. Specifically, some of the councilors had issues because of privatization with the DCM budget.
No, we should say, and I'm just going to interrupt for a moment, because
Sure.
I talked to City Councilor Ray Mitchell, and he was saying that the council usually just votes on the budget as a whole. So the problem was that the City Council doesn't normally go line item by line item, and that was a major concern this year. So yes.
Well, they didn't even know that they had that right.
Correct.
Until DOR had become involved with the administration. And I spoke with the mayor earlier today, and he said that it was actually his administration that brought that to light, that if there's going to be any kind of rejection of the budget, they're required to go line by line, and that was the issue with the first vote. So they had started off going line by line, and initially there was a motion to reject the whole entire DCM budget because of the pending lawsuit that
by the 10 taxpayers
by the 10
group,
taxpayers,
right.
correct.
Right.
Which we can go into that later. But so they were also going to reject the insurance appropriation, and I can say that City Council President Shah Kadim talked them out of it. Said it wasn't really going to be help the city in any way, because it was health insurance for city workers as well as insurance for buildings. So they reversed on that as well. And then I think the confusion was after they got past the insurance appropriation, they took the rest of the budget, the rest of the appropriations as a whole. Some councilors didn't realize what they were really doing was voting for the entire budget.
Correct.
And that was an 8-1 vote, as I had said. And there was a break, and the councilors started kind of panicking. Some of them, I guess, City Councilor Linda Pereira said she didn't realize that she was voting on the entire budget. So they decided to go back for another vote. Reconsider is what they called it, and then it turned into a 5-4 vote and did pass in its entirety. So it was a pretty long route to get there. A little confusing. They actually had, exercised powers that they didn't know they had before.
Right, right.
So I think they were treading very lightly, and that might have been part of the confusion as well.
Right. And that brings us to the lawsuit that the 10 taxpayers group had brought to Taunton Superior Court, and a judge did hear that yesterday.
Correct.
The deal was that, well, I know Ray Mitchell, city councilor, wanted an injunction put into place to stop the trash removal privatization, which is set to begin on July 1st, which is Friday.
Right.
And the judge said
that it was
no.
basically a
Right.
moot point.
Right, it was a moot. And that was because, according to Ray, it was because the city council had already passed the budget.
Correct.
So that was it.
And yes, and when attorney Leslie Rich had filed the lawsuit last Thursday, there hadn't been an appropriation. So essentially, I believe the vote, as the judge had indicated, it was moot. Although she did not throw out the lawsuit in its entirety, so the 10 taxpayers do have an opportunity to go back if they have any other issues or want to amend their arguments as far as the mayor having, full responsibility for signing any contracts. And she cited the Plan A type of government as why the mayor has total authority.
And you were in the courtroom, correct?
I was in the courtroom.
Yes. How long did it take?
It was pretty brief. Surprisingly, I even came back to the newsroom and said that it wasn't very exciting. We got interrupted a couple of times because a jury came back with a verdict, and so the judge interrupted the hearing. But I would say it was easily under a half an hour. What was interesting, if you know anything about Rhode Island politics, former Providence Mayor Angel Tavares was actually at the defendant table. He had been hired by the city to be co-counsel.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, see, sometimes the things get interesting here.
Yeah.
And again, that happened in Taunton Superior Court on Thursday.
Yes, yesterday.
Which was yesterday.
At 2 o'clock, correct.
Okay. All right. Well, actually, Joe, we're almost running out of time here. So why don't we just talk a little bit about the privatization, just wrap it up in 30 seconds. It starts on July 1st, as we mentioned.
Yes, it starts tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
That's
Today
right.
is the last day of fiscal year 2016. The 24 sanitation workers will be officially laid off. And tomorrow, Easy Disposal will begin collecting trash. I did speak with the mayor, as I said, and he's very confident that things should go fairly smoothly. I guess the company has been, following the routes, and everything, according to the mayor, if your trash is supposed to be picked up tomorrow, it will be picked up. So he's pretty confident that there will be a few glitches in the coming weeks as the city transfers to privatization.
And you're also saying that people should be patient and, just expect, I mean, it is a change no matter what.
Yeah, and I believe if anybody goes on the website, I don't have the phone number as of yet, but you can call Easy Disposal directly. And the mayor said that the mayor's office will be helping to monitor, as will DCM Director Ken Pacheco, how things are rolling out as the city moves forward with a new trash plan. So.
Very good. Okay, Joe, we are out of time. A very pleasant 10 minutes. I really appreciate you filling in for Will. And anytime, please, obviously come back and be our guest.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Have a very great weekend.
You
nice,
too.
Safe holiday.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.